Some people think they run the neighborhood because they chair a few HOA meetings and send passive-aggressive emails about grass height. But this one, she drove up to my ranch in the middle of nowhere, acting like she was the queen of real estate and I was some lawless pool bandit. Let me rewind. 1 minute, I'm standing on my property, 15,000 acres of wide-open Montana land that's been in my family for over 100 years, watching a swimming pool take shape next to my home. Just me, some construction guys, a few grazing horses, and a dream of cooling off under the summer sun. Then, out of nowhere, a spotless white BMW comes wheezing up my dirt road like it's allergic to gravel. Out steps Karen, a woman whose energy screamed HOA president and whose outfit looked like it had never seen dust in its life. Clipboard in hand, sunglasses too big for her face, and an expression that said, "I'm not mad, just severely disappointed in your existence." She didn't even greet me. Instead, she immediately started filming and yelling across the trench like I committed a war crime. "This is unacceptable. You're destroying the natural value of this community. I'm calling the police." Mind you, there's no community for miles. Just pine trees, rocky trails, wildflowers, and the sound of her voice echoing like a haunted Yelp review. "Let me introduce myself, ma'am." She barked into her phone about illegal construction, still assuming I was some rebellious newcomer. I stood there trying not to laugh while her heels sunk into the soft dirt. Eventually, I walked over and calmly said, "Ma'am, just so we're clear, you've crossed on a private property. You're trespassing. And this pool, it's entirely legal." "I doubt that," she scoffed. "There are permits, and setback rules, and water usage laws. I know. I'm on the HOA board." "Oh, really? That's adorable," I smiled. "Because I'm a sheriff for this district. And this entire valley, it's mine." The color drained from her face so fast. I thought her foundation was about to slide off. "Karen, you picked the wrong cowboy. See, here's the truth. This land has belonged to my family since before Montana was a state. My great-grandfather rode out here on horseback with nothing but a bedroll and a shovel, and slowly carved out a life in this wild place. Every stone on this property has a story, and none of them involve entitled women in designer boots thinking they own the place. We've been here through blizzards, droughts, wildfires, and now, apparently HOA, Karen's armed with clipboards and delusion. To be clear, I'm not just some guy building a pool for fun. I'm a law enforcement officer, a registered landowner, and someone who follows legal code to the letter, especially when it involves digging a 6-foot-deep hole filled with water next to my house. But Karen wasn't done. The next morning, she showed up again, this time with a printed copy of her HOA bylaws, which looked like they were written in Comic Sans and photocopied at a PDA meeting. She waved them at me like they were legal scripture. "See this?" she barked. "Your pool is in violation of community decorum. It must be removed." "Community decorum?" I raised an eyebrow. "Lady, the only community here is the family of foxes living near my fence line." Still, she insisted she would escalate the matter. And she did. That afternoon, the local cops rolled up, my own department, because Karen had called them claiming an illegal installation by a suspicious individual. Imagine her horror when I met them at the gate in full uniform. The officer stepped out, took one look at me, then looked at her. "Ma'am, this is Sheriff Lindell. He's literally our boss." She blinked like she'd just seen a ghost in cowboy boots. So I escalated too. I wasn't about to let this woman dictate how I lived on land that's been mine since Teddy Roosevelt was president. So I filed a formal complaint for harassment and trespassing. Next, I made a call to the county to verify everything. Every line of the pool plan, every zoning law, every water permit. Everything was airtight. Then, for good measure, I invited a local news reporter to document the curious case of the HOA, Karen who thought she ruled Montana. Public humiliation? Check. The report aired the following week. Karen, of course, refused to appear on camera. But the footage of her BMW struggling over rocks and her arguing with my deputy about proper fence aesthetics went mildly viral. She became known online as the Montana HOA Mirage, a woman who wandered into the wilderness thinking her cul-de-sac rules applied to cattle ranches. Now, the pool is finished. It's deep, beautiful, and every bit the oasis I imagined. Sometimes I sit by the water with a cold drink, watching the sun dip below the mountains, and I think about how surreal it all was. All that drama, all that yelling over a pool. I've since added a small sign by the gate that says, "Welcome to the Lindell Ranch. Private property. HOA rules not recognized beyond this point." So if you're ever building your dream, whether it's a home, a pool, or a legacy, just know someone will try to tell you it's wrong, that it's not allowed, that they know better. Smile, keep building, and if needed, remind them you're not just the landowner, you're the sheriff. And around here, the only rules that apply are the ones carved into the dirt by generations who came before you.